Hello students, welcome to another video of calculus. Today we will discuss the topic limit of function. Limit of a function. Limit of function. Before the starting the definition of limit of a function, we will take one more definition, which is the definition of cluster point. So the definition of cluster point. Cluster point. Let A be a subset of real numbers. A be a subset of R. A point, suppose C, small c belongs to R, is said to be cluster point of this set A, is said to be cluster point of A, is said to be cluster point of A if for every epsilon positive, if for every suppose delta greater than 0, for every delta greater than 0, there exists at least one point, x belongs to A, that is at least one point of this set A, and that x is different from C, that is x not equals to C, such that mod of x minus C is less than delta. A subset A is subset of R. A point C, that is a real number C, is said to be cluster point of given set A if for every delta greater than 0. Delta is the smallest. Whenever we take delta and epsilon, that are the small quantities. So delta greater than 0, there exists at least one point of A, such that there exists at least one point of A. Suppose x belongs to A and different from C, such that the mod of x minus C is less than delta. This is the definition of cluster point. So that C is said to be cluster point. This definition is similar definition like the limit points in metric space. The video of metric space is in this channel. You can check that the definition of limit point. So definition of limit point and cluster point is same, but just see the cluster point in real analysis, whereas the limit point in metric spaces. That is the course of TYBSc mathematics. You can check that definition, that will be more clear about the cluster point. So this is the definition of cluster points. In another way, we can say that a point C is cluster point if every deleted delta neighborhood of C contains an element of A. So in other words, we can write in another way, we can define it. Means we can define cluster points as a point C is said to be cluster point. C is said to be cluster point of the set A of the set A if every deleted delta neighborhood that is suppose n delta of C, every deleted delta neighborhood of C, which is in real analysis deleted delta neighborhood means that C minus delta, C plus delta of C. Every deleted delta neighborhood of C contains at least one element of this A, contains at least one point of A, Deleted delta neighborhood means suppose this is a real line and suppose this is C point, then this is suppose delta. So this will be the delta neighborhood of C. Suppose this is C and this distance is delta, this delta again, this is delta. So this delta neighborhood of C, but deleted delta neighborhood means this interval minus this center. So this is the deleted delta neighborhood. Neighborhood means the points which are very close to C are said to be points in neighborhood of C. So this is suppose neighborhood. So this distance, that is distance between this C and this bracket is delta, again this bracket and this C is delta. So this is delta neighborhood of C. The deleted delta neighborhood means this whole interval except this C, that is this interval minus C is deleted delta neighborhood. Then C is said to be cluster point of suppose this any set A whenever this deleted neighborhood contains at least one element of that A. A will be suppose this is suppose A, if we take the close interval here, suppose this is A, then this for this delta neighborhood, this deleted delta neighborhood of C contains these points of A. So we cannot say that C is cluster point, because for every deleted delta neighborhood, if we choose this as delta, then that this interval, that is this neighborhood, does not contain any element of C. So this C will be not a cluster point. Suppose this close interval is our A, then the all interior points are cluster points and boundary points are also cluster points. So suppose if we take this as C, then for every smallest delta we draw the neighborhood, then that neighborhood contains at least one element of this set, this closed interval A. So that will be the cluster point. So this is the definition of cluster point. Now we will see the definition of limit of a function. Now the next definition is definition of limit of a function. Next definition, limit of function. So let f be a real valued function. Let f be a real valued function. F be a real valued function defined on suppose some set A defined on a set A which is subset of R, and let C be the cluster point of A. C be the cluster point of A. That is f function defined from set A to R. The function is from f from A to R. A is the subset of real numbers, so subset of real numbers to R is function given, and C be the cluster point of A. Cluster point of A means there must be some elements of A very close to C. C be the cluster point of A. A real number, the real number suppose L is real number, is called limit of function f, that is limit of f of x at x is equals to C, at x is equals to C. If for given epsilon positive, if for given epsilon positive there exists some delta positive, for given epsilon greater than 0 there exists delta greater than 0, such that x belongs to A, that is x is the element of A, then 0 less than mod x minus C less than delta implies mod of f of x minus L is less than epsilon. 0 less than mod x minus C less than delta implies f of x mod of f of x minus L less than delta. This means that if C is cluster point of A, here the function f is given from set A to set of real numbers, then for this function L be the limit of given function. So here C is the element of A, that is C is the cluster point of A. This means that there are some elements which are very close to C, that is there are some elements of A which are in deleted delta neighborhood of C. Then for the images of that elements, the images of this neighborhood in R must be very close to L. That is, for given any epsilon positive, there exists some delta positive such that 0 less than mod x minus less than delta, that is for deleted delta neighborhood of C, the image of that f is very close to L, that is mod f of x is less than epsilon. There is no need to write this. So for given epsilon positive, there exists some delta positive such that for x belongs to A, 0 less than mod x minus C less than delta implies f of x minus L less than epsilon. This can be written as, we write this as, limit x tends to C. Whenever our x tends to C, that is wherever our x very close to C, then the limit of f of x will be L, that is f of x, for that x be very close to C, f of x will be very close to L. Limit of x tends to C, f of x is equals to L. This is the epsilon delta definition of limit. This is the definition of limit. Now we will see one theorem on this, that is limit of a given function is unique, as we have seen in the second chapter. Sequence of limit is same. Similarly here we can give the proof of the theorem, which is limit of a given function is unique. So theorem, the statement of the theorem is function cannot have, or suppose statement of the theorem is, suppose if f from A to R, be a function and C be the cluster point of A, and C is a cluster point of A, then f can have only one limit. This theorem can be asked as an example or statement for this theorem. Show that a function cannot have more than one limit. So that a function cannot have more than one limits. Now to prove this theorem, similar like second chapter, we will take two limits of given function. Suppose f be a function and C be the cluster point is given for us. Now we will choose L1 and L2. Suppose there are L1 and L2 are two limits of this function f, and we will show that L1 and L2 are equal. So let L1 and L2 be two limits of f at x is equals to C, that is at the cluster point C. Then we have the previous definition. By definition of limit, for given epsilon positive, there exist, for here suppose L1 and L2 are two limits, so delta 1 and delta 2 will choose delta 1 greater than 0 and delta 2 greater than 0, such that for x belongs to A, 0 less than mod x minus C less than delta 1 implies mod of f of x minus L1 is less than some epsilon. So here we will choose epsilon by 2, because epsilon is very small number, so we can choose epsilon by 2. Now Similarly for L2, x belongs to A, 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta 2 implies mod of f of x minus L2 is less than epsilon by 2. Suppose this is equation number 2. Now if we choose delta 1 and delta 2 from this delta 1 and delta 2, minimum between these delta 1 and delta 2, then both the conditions are satisfied. Let delta is equals to minimum of delta 1 comma delta 2, then both the equations 1 and 2 are satisfied, or both the equation 1 and 2 holds. Both the equation 1 and 2 holds whenever 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta. So now if we consider this 0 less than mod x minus c is less than delta. Now for 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta, both the equations 1 and 2 are hold, that is mod f of x minus L1 is less than epsilon by 2 and f of x minus L2 is less than epsilon by 2. Now we will, here we have taken two limits L1 and L2. Now we will take the L1 minus L2, modulus of L1 minus L2. Now we will add and subtract f of x. So here suppose L1 minus f of x minus L2 plus f of x. So just adding and subtracting f of x, there is no change. Now we know that mod a plus b is less than or equals to mod a plus b. So we can rearrange it as mod f of x minus L1 plus mod f of x minus L2. F of x minus L1, because by taking minus sign common and modulus of minus 1 is 1, so we can use that property mod ab is equals to mod a into mod b by using just for taking modulus of minus 1 is equals to 1. We will get f of x minus L1, or in the modulus we can interchange the signs. So similarly for f of x minus L2 is mod of f of x minus L1 plus mod of f of x minus L2. But by equations 1 and 2 we have mod f of x minus L1 is less than epsilon by 2 and mod f of x minus L2 is less than epsilon by 2. So this is again epsilon by 2. So epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2 is epsilon, but epsilon is very small quantity, that is we will take epsilon tends to 0. Now if our epsilon is equals to 0, then mod L1 minus L2 is equals to 0 implies L1 and L2 are same. Therefore here till now we have whenever 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta and x belongs to A, we have this x belongs to A, 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta implies this mod of L1 minus L2 is strictly less than epsilon, implies mod of L1 minus L2 is less than epsilon, where this epsilon is arbitrary. So we can write mod L1 minus L2 is equals to 0, because epsilon is always tends to 0, as since epsilon was arbitrary, hence we can write L1 minus L2 is equals to 0. L1 minus L2 is equals to 0, that is L1 is equals to L2, that is L1 is equals to L2. Hence for two limits L1 and L2 we have both are equal, hence the limit of a given function is unique. This implies, thus we can write the limit of function f is unique. The limit of function f is unique, that is every function has one and only one limit, hence the proof of this theorem. Now by using epsilon delta definition, we will solve some one or two examples. So first example is by using this epsilon delta definition of limits, by using epsilon delta definition of limit, prove that limit x tends to a, limit x tends to c, a is equals to a, that is for a constant function f of x is equals to x, and we have to prove this limit is equals to a. So this is suppose first example. In the solution we have f of x is equals to a, f of x is equals to a for all x belongs to R. For every x belongs to R we have given constant function. So let for every epsilon positive we have to find delta positive. For epsilon positive we want delta positive such that mod x minus 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta must implies mod of f of x minus some limit. So here we have to limit is equals to a, so this mod f of x minus a will be less than delta. So for given epsilon positive we need delta positive which satisfies this inequality. Now if we take the mod of f of x minus a which is equals to f of x is equals to a, so a minus a is equals to 0, and 0 is clearly less than delta because clearly less than epsilon because for epsilon is greater than 0. So now if we choose delta is equals to epsilon, then we can write this. Therefore for given epsilon positive, there exists delta is equals to epsilon itself, because for epsilon is itself we can get the inequality, this inequality holds. So delta is equals to epsilon, we have, or we can write 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta implies mod of f of x minus a less than epsilon. So for a constant function epsilon is itself delta, that is delta is equals to epsilon. So we get limit x tends to a, limit x tends to c, f of x, that is f of x will be a is equals to a. This is the solution. Now similarly we can write this solution of second example. Limit x tends to c, x is equals to c, limit x tends to c, x is equals to c. Now again here we have given f of x is equals to x, f of x is equals to x for all x belongs to R. Now for given delta epsilon positive we need some delta positive such which holds the inequality, which holds 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta implies mod f of x minus this limit c is less than epsilon. Now if you consider mod x minus c is less than epsilon, mod of f of x minus c less than epsilon, for given epsilon positive you can take this mod of f of x minus c less than some epsilon. So here f of x is equals to, so f of x will be here x, so x minus c less than epsilon. So x minus c less than epsilon means epsilon, if we choose delta is equals to epsilon, then this inequality is satisfied. Therefore for given epsilon positive we have, for epsilon positive there exists some delta is equals to epsilon such that mod of 0 less than mod x minus c less than delta implies mod of f of x minus c less than epsilon. Hence limit of given function is equals to c. Therefore limit x tends to c, x is equals to c itself. Hence the solution of given example.